It excites us, but we're still hesitant because there's lots of moving parts. It's a moving jigsaw puzzle. If one piece just doesn't fit just right, it may not work. There's multiple entities, there's multiple developers, home builders, all kinds of things happening and talking at the table, which is great. We're all at the table talking. If it works, great. If not, we all can say, it's not going to work. So we will see what's going to be best for our city and what's best long term. It's got a lot of potential, but there's still a lot of moving parts.
Welcome to Herrimanology,
the official podcast to keep up with Herriman City.
We'll take you inside the city, explore the latest news and updates, show you how your government operates, and discuss the issues that affect us all. Now, here are your hosts talking all things Herriman on Herrimanology.
All right, welcome to Herrimanology. It is Friday, January 10th, 2025. It is a new year. You have color back in your beard.
Yes.
Looks good.
Thanks.
Looks sharp.
Yeah, I look younger, right?
Yeah. How was your holiday season?
It was wonderful. It was busy. It took a couple weeks off after the holidays and just kind of rested. It was nice.
Nice.
So, yeah.
By the way, I say color back in his beard, not because his beard is like graying or anything. He just has things to do during the holiday season.
Job, yeah, during the holidays. I help out a certain guy in red, so I go white. And some of you guys saw that last November. I think it was on the podcast in November. Yeah.
So anyway, hope everybody had a nice holiday season. One thing that used to be in the holiday season that is now going to be in January,
yes,
the Yeti Hunt.
Yeah.
And a favorite tradition for a lot of people that we've been doing this for, it must be 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah, at least I think 7 years for sure. I know we started off doing it before I was highly involved with the city. We came into almost every event, but my littles loved the Yeti Hunt. Chasing across the city, chasing the Yeti. We thought that the kids think they're actually chasing the Yeti. Well, it's a little trickier. It's a little hide and seek hunt, kind of scavenger hunt, clue hunt. It's really fun.
Yeah. So January 14th through the 27th, whether you're a veteran Yeti hunter or if this is your first time, you can find all the information on herriman.gov/Yeti-hunt or herriman.gov/events, and you can find all the information. And basically how it works in a nutshell is on Facebook and Instagram on the city's page. Every other day we'll post a clue as to where the ornament is, the Yeti ornament. And if you're not the first one and don't win the ornament, there's still a footprint there with clues that'll help you be able to gain entries for an eventual prize drawing. So.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of prizing, baskets, all kinds of fun. You get to know your city, lots of sponsorships. All around, it's just a fun event. And the clues are going to drop morning and evening on these given days, and so more people can be involved. If you got a early morning drop off and you can't get that morning clue, don't worry, you get another chance to do an evening clue. So yeah.
By the way, I forgot to introduce Councilmember Yeti Hodges, District 2, on the City Council. I'm John LaFollette, Communications Manager. Usually say that up front, but I was just so excited to come back to Herrimanology after...
it's been a little hiatus, with the holiday break. Yeah,
been a few weeks off. So let's talk about the City Council meeting on Wednesday night. Yeah. First thing, there were a couple of different voting items that relate to a larger project. Maybe we can talk about this a little bit. We mentioned it on a previous podcast, the proposed Southwest Athletic Complex is what we're calling it right now. What is that complex? Maybe what's the larger project idea, and how did Wednesday's City Council meeting kind of fit within that?
This complex or park sports athletic complex is a really big pie in the sky dream. It's a hope and a wish. It's a really home run hit if we can figure out how all the parts and pieces work. It's a 60-acre park, which is pretty large. It meets the large park development for outside funding, for county funding, for other resources. So it's just not Herriman City or our taxpayers paying for it. We can get other funding. So that's one win-win for us if we can get this to work. The other thing is it helps bring 16 plus programmable square or rectangle fields, flat fields. So it can be anything from soccer, rugby, football, any ultimate frisbee, anything that can be played on a rectangle field. And we're talking full turf, lower maintenance, longer longevity. It's kind of the location of it's in the Teton Ranch area. You're not familiar with that? That's 6,000 south to 6,400 south between
west.
6,000 west to 6,400 west between 118th south and 126th south. It's just west of the high school, pretty much where that location is. So.
And you kind of alluded to this. One of the tricky parts is the city right now doesn't own all the land needed to make this park, nor does the city have the funding within the city budget to make this happen.
Correct.
And in order to kind of make that work, the city is right now proposing to work with some of the landowners and development partners for throwing around the idea of some land swaps and trying to up the value of the land that the city's trading away. Again, talking about trading away to make it equitable for both sides and see if this is something that's doable.
Yeah, as a city, we own a little bit of property in our cities right now that we're looking at exchanging or trading or making agreements to where we can utilize our property for their property. Their property right now that we're trying to exchange is already entitled, ready to build, already platted. They could really
for homes specifically.
Yeah, for single family homes. They could actually start digging tomorrow and build these homes. We push pause on that because we see this potential bigger park picture, and it excites us, but we're still hesitant because there's lots of moving parts. It's a moving jigsaw puzzle is how we kind of said it on Wednesday night, where if one piece just doesn't fit just right, it may not work. And so there's a lot of parts. There's multiple entities, there's multiple developers, home builders, all kinds of things happening and talking at the table, which is great. We're all at the table talking, and I think it's going in the right direction. And what happened on Wednesday night, we made a memo of understanding that we're going to all work to the best interest of this. And if it works, great. If not, we all can say, it's not going to work. And then go about our way and start building houses there. And we'll have to find other park money or other ways to get these fields.
Yeah. So not to go too far in the weeds, just want to mention last night was the first of, I think, 3,
correct,
as of now, scheduled community meetings to talk about this. And these community meetings, there are postcards sent to property owners that are
adjacent,
that are adjacent, live next to some of these public properties that the city's thinking of involving in this deal.
Yeah.
Last night there was one, actually 2 properties, 2 of 3 that we're talking about. On one corner of it will be a rebuilt fire station 103. We'll get into that in just a moment, but the rest of it, there are proposals for adding housing that will have impact, or again, potentially proposed, all these kind of, I want to make sure that's clear, but they would have impacts to the surrounding community. So the city wanted to meet with the residents to talk about the larger context of this project and how it could affect them locally.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, we had a good representation last night from the city, and there was probably 45, maybe 50 people there at any given time. We had lots of engagement, lots of involvement. The meeting did run a little bit long. We did go over a lot of information and details. It's unfortunate this morning I come out of the meeting and we see a lot of misinformation on internet and other people going around. So if you want information, if you want the direct information, we've got a website coming out. You can email us, call us. We've got 2 more meetings scheduled. The next one's on Tuesday the 21st, I believe, 6 o'clock here. Mm-hmm. And then that's going to go over some other development area, but same project, same information. Come out. You're welcome to come and hear that.
Yeah, so guesstimated timeline for this, where the city's looking at maybe the end of February or early March to at least narrow in on whether this is a good idea or not.
Yeah, that's a soft yea or nay, and then we'll actually get into the hard facts of what's going to happen. A lot of things that are ideas and potential right now, and there's nothing solid, nothing sold on this, nothing's exchanged hands, no handshake deals. We just all have everything on the table saying, this is what we think can happen, this is what we think can work, and we're trying to make it work. And we're trying to make it a win-win for everybody. So we will see what's going to be best for our city and what's best long-term. And it's got a lot of potential, but there's still a lot of moving parts.
Right. So we're not going to belabor it, but that's a big project the city's pretty focused on right now. You'll see information about it in various forms over the next several weeks and maybe even a couple of months. So just wanted to give you a further heads up on that. Let's talk about the fire station. So on the corner of one of those properties, there will be a fire station. That isn't really proposed at this point. Like, it's going to happen. Maybe a couple of final T's to cross and I's to dot, but there's going to be a new fire station on 129th South next to Rosecrest Road. what's the reason for this fire station, and what's maybe the timeline?
Yeah, so we've been knowing that we needed to upgrade our fire station 103. This building has been part of Herriman for a long, long time. It sits on the corner just off Main Street and 6,000 West right now, the old one. You've driven by it hundreds of times if you've driven down Main Street. It's been built on and added on, and it doesn't meet our standards to house firemen there. It doesn't meet the codes in the area that we need for apparatuses and whatnot. So we've been working at least the last 2 years on a new station. We found a location about a year ago that we owned on city property, and that's on the 129th and just off Rosecrest 56 West there. And we went through the design. We actually just saw the final design, I believe, on Wednesday, and it's a beautiful building. We saw interior samples and what it looks like, and it's going to be a beautiful space. I mean, if I worked as a fireman, new and shiny is awesome, but this will be a great fire station and a great add to our city. We know that we need more because we are building out, but we need quicker response times and better response times, and this location will provide that.
Yeah.
So.
Worth mentioning too, some people have asked what's going to happen to the old fire station, and the answer right now is we don't totally know. There's some ideas, but we don't know quite yet.
Well, the good thing, the city owns that. And we, through our taxing district and our property allocations, we actually have that from the UFA. And so we can utilize that how we see best fit. It could be used for other departments. It could be used for storage. It could be used for other vehicle. It could be maintenance, something. It's still a great building. It still can house and be utilized as city property, but it's not sizably for fire stations. It doesn't meet that higher tier of availability for fire.
Yeah, so that'll be built within the next couple of years. You'll start to see some progress on it at some point.
Fall 26, I think, is what they hopefully ribbon cutting, something like that. So we'll see.
So looking forward to that. One other thing too, there was a presentation in the city council meeting from the Friends of Herriman. For those who may not be familiar, who are the Friends of Herriman, and what was that presentation?
Yeah, so the Friends of Herriman is our a nonprofit group that actually broke away from kind of like our events, our arts, our performing arts, our culture, our trails, our veteran, all those little committees that we had as a smaller city that were just volunteer committees, 2-3 people. We actually were able to help get this 501c3 Friends of Herriman started, and they kind of took that all under their umbrella. And lo and behold, they actually fostered an amazing growth, and they're doing some amazing things. In 2 years, they've surpassed where we thought they could go with fundraising, with the opportunity of programs they're putting on, and they're doing more than we ever thought we could. They have over 500-600 different volunteers. They have hundreds of hours. They're out there digging in trails. We've got more trails and miles clean up there. We've got several different events. Our Pedalpaloozas put on by them. Our health and safety fair that's tied in with that. We've had Veterans Day or all kinds of different events. And then they also come out and help us when we have other events. You'll see them at the farmers market every so often. You'll see them at these other events helping pick up trash, helping do resources, or just bringing people together. And so they've been an amazing thing. So they just did a 2-year report. They came and presented to us to show us how many hours and how many people they've had volunteer, and they've had a great significant impact on us. So
yeah, so good for them. That was fun to see that, and We've seen a lot of the good that they do throughout the year. They'll continue to. The city has donated, or I guess maybe grant is a better word, given a grant to the Friends of Herriman on an annual basis for the last couple of years. So this report was them coming to be accountable for that money that the city's given them. And they've done a lot of fundraising beyond that to boost and be able to fund all the amazing things they do.
Yeah, and instead of just our tax dollars going for that and funding them every year like we were in small committees, we've been able to get Zoo Art and Parks funds. We've been able to get county funds, and they're looking at even other state funds and federal funds to help with our programs and our life and entertainment. So, yeah.
And one final thing, we talked about this very briefly at the city council meeting, but it's really more of a calendar item with the legislative session coming up.
Yeah.
So the kind of like Congress, the state has a legislature with a Senate and a House of Representatives, and they meet starting every January. For 45 days to talk about laws and if they should make laws and allocate funding to different state things. That's coming up soon. How can residents make their voice heard this time of year?
That's a great question. So even as cities, we ask that same question: how can we make our voice heard? So we end up meeting with our legislatures, our local reps and senators prior to the legislature session, and kind of give our wish list and kind of what bills we know are coming, and kind of say, okay, we want some attention paid to this. And so you have the same opportunity. They listen to the constituents quite well. So if you don't know who your representatives are, le.gov.
Yep, LE. Short for legislature, le.utah.gov.
Okay. So that website's going to give you all the information. You put in your address or your precinct number, if you know that stuff, your voter number. They'll tell you who your rep is, who your senator is, who your congressman is, all those information. So they'll give emails and phone numbers, and you can contact them directly. There are going to be new bills this year. There are going to be new laws this year, so stay tuned. We will put out the ones we're worried about. You'll see some newsletters or action letters. You might even have reps reach out to you because they want you to call them. So that's kind of fun when that happens. So just stay tuned. A lot of work happens in 45 days. A lot of stuff. There's lots of events up at the Capitol. If you support or any type of group or association, they usually have an event up there. So stay tuned. If you're in the know, you're in the know. If not, get on that website, call us, text us, email us, and we'll help you navigate that as well. So we're here for you.
Yeah, and that website is going to be kind of the information hub for everything in the state legislature.
Yeah.
You'll see every bill on there. They organize them by number or by topic. You'll see kind of how they progress. It moves fast, but they publish all the information on there. And again, just a reminder, we're not the state representatives. I'm not a representative. I'm a staff member. You are a representative, but you're not a state representative.
Yeah.
We don't control what they do, but we try to phone and email them just like everybody else and advocate for Herriman City's interests. And you as residents should contact them for your interest and for the general public. So,
yeah, awesome.
So that's coming up pretty soon. You're going to hear all sorts of news about it from a lot of different avenues. Yep. So, anyway, as always, send us a question if you have a question about Herriman City or about your local government in general. You can leave a comment on wherever you're listening or watching this, or you can email communications@herriman.gov, and we'll address your question in the next episode. Councilmember Hodges, thank you for carving out a few minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening and watching, and we'll catch you next time.